This was a small thing, but it really impacted me and made me uh, well it was just a reminder of I don't even know what it was a reminder of. Now that I think about it, I'm just going to describe what I'm talking about. What exactly I experienced. I listen to a lot of audiobooks now on Audible. Um, and by the way, I've said before, Amazon. Uh, I know they're a huge corporate giant, and I'm not inclined to favor huge multi-conglomerate corporations. For various reasons, but Amazon's never let me down. I've got to say, I all blessings to smaller businesses and smaller booksellers and smaller book publishers. But Amazon has enabled me to self-publish, and so anyway, that's just background. Uh, I listened to the book The Mosquito Coast on Audible because I spend a lot of time driving with my job, and so it's a chance to get caught up on literature that I wouldn't otherwise necessarily have the time to read. And Mosquito Coast is a great book. Um, I could go into a review of it. Maybe I will sometime, but that's not what I want to talk about here. But it's an extremely well written book. It's a very compelling book, and I know Paul Theroux is a writer who is a writer of some renown, known for his travel books, mostly nonfiction travel books. This was a fictional work that was made into a movie in the '80s, starring Harrison Ford, and later was I didn't know this at the time, but was apparently adapted by HBO for a miniseries or something. So after listening to this book, there's a little commentary thing at the end where Paul Theroux is talking about uh, the making of the book, what led him into the making of the book. At least that was what I thought he was going to spend most of his time talking about, and that was what I was looking forward to hearing, because I wondered a lot of things. I wondered, how does an author create a character like Allie Fox, one of the most appalling, tragic characters that I've ever experienced. Somebody that you just can't stand, but at the same time you understand that that he represents something that is tragic. So in some way you feel sad for him, um, even though he is just an appalling character in so many ways. But he's a very driven person, and so there's something to admire about him. But he just doesn't have any empathy for those around him, including his own family, um, who he really puts through the ringer, puts through hell. And I wondered, what went into the making of a character like that? Like, who were some influences? What led him to create this character? And maybe that is still somewhere. Maybe that can be. I could find out that information I probably could if I did some research, but I just thought, oh, it's the author. He's going to comment on the book that he wrote and this character, this unforgettable character that he created. Let me hear what he has to say. But I was very disappointed because he ended up talking about how. I mean, he spent maybe a couple of minutes talking about the things that went into the writing of the book, but most of the time he spent talking about the HBO series, which starred Justin Theroux, who I found out is related to Paul Theroux, but there was there was no nepotism there. He assured us somewhat unconvincingly, but I don't even care about that. I don't care if Justin Theroux got the part, because his relative, I can't remember how they're related to one another, but because his uncle or his great uncle or his second cousin or whatever they are to each other, was the author of the book. That's not really interesting to me. But what really bothered me was this: when Paul Theroux, he's the one he's the person that I'm referring to as Theroux from now on. He's the author of the book. When Theroux talked about the series, he talked about how in the series the woman who played his wife was much more of a character, was much more of a fleshed out character than he had written her in the book. And he essentially ended up saying, oh yeah, they did it so much better. And he ended up, he ended up self-flagellating over, oh, I gave the woman a short shrift because I'm such a sexist, or that was sort of the implication. And it's just always appalling to me how people who could do better don't. I mean, this is an accomplished author. This is a man who's done, he's got no reason to apologize to anybody. He's got no reason to say, to do the humble pie routine and to talk about how, they wrote this female character so much better than he did, and that he feels bad that he didn't write a better character for the wife, for Allie Fox's wife, who's just known as Mother in the book because it's narrated by the oldest son. He doesn't have to do that, and she wasn't poorly written. She just wasn't the focus of the book. The focus of the book were two characters mainly. They were the narrator, the eldest son of the family, who of course has a complicated relationship with the father and wants to understand him. Looks up to him, but at the same time, is aware of the fact that this guy's losing it, and sort of is treading this course between walking this tightrope between outright rebelling against his father, which he knows wouldn't help matters because they're he has three younger siblings and a mother, and they've been taken out into the jungle with this guy, and they're so they're reliant on him in a lot of ways, and also he feels loyalty to his father, but at the same time he knows that his father is not. He grows more and more to see that his father is not being reasonable. So he's one of the main characters, and the other main character is Allie Fox, the father himself, so that's the protagonist is the eldest son, the antagonist is his father. The mother is a character in the story, and she's perfectly fleshed out. She's just not as she doesn't play as major of a role. You know, she's less prominently featured because the story is mainly about the son and the father. But he has to, like, in talking about, in commenting on this book that he wrote, he has to apologize, or he has to say, you know, I'm just so, I'm sorry for being, you know, such a chauvinist. You know, I should have done better, and it's just, it made me, I just had to stop listening. I had to just tune it out. It was depressing me. It was annoying me. And I just wonder why, you know, a guy who's at the end of his career, you know, probably close to the end of his life, because he's been writing for forever. He's been around for a long, long time. Why he feels the need to do something, to say something like that? Is it just because he wants not to be, you know, like, he wants to, you know, see to it that he isn't canceled before he even gets, you know, faces the cancellation trial, or the possibility of being canceled? Is it just that he sees this looming possibility of cancellation, because he didn't focus more on the female characters of the book? I mean, not everything has to be about female characters. There are some books, some movies, some fictional works that focus on the male characters, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this guy, you know, it's like he had to retroactively apologize for the book that he wrote, which is a great book. But there was something about his commentary that tainted, not the book, because the book still stands, you know, it still stands the test of time. And his abilities as a writer stand the test of time. But something about just this abject attitude of you know, bowing to the current thing, you know, even though you're 85 years old, or however old he is now. I mean, just like, you know, there's something about, you know, not like, something about trying to ingratiate yourself with the trends of the day, you know, which, anyway, fuck those. I mean, there's plenty of younger people who don't care about those trends, who are actively working against them, who despise them. I mean, there's a huge number of people. So just this somehow wanting to seem like you're on the right side of history, it just really, it really irked me. It really bothered me a lot.